Bachelard. But below him, it could shuffle considerably before this day is done. And as the cars pull off the grid and get underway, we look at the rear wing of the number 64 machine, that of Roberto Quintanilla. Best wishes for Roger Bailey, the man in charge of the Indy Lights series, and a friend of Quintanilla's, Max, and we join in wishing them well. Both men have recently undergone major surgery. And now a look at the grid. On the pole is Robbie Buell, his second pole in the last 3 races. He's looking for his second victory in a row. Flanking him on the front row is P.J. Jones. Then inside of row number 2, Mark Smith, a winner already this year, and Brian Till, a contender for the Rookie of the Year title, on the outside of the row. In row number 3, 2-time winner in '91, Robbie Groff, flanked on the outside by David Kudrave. Keep an eye on him. He's been very fast this weekend. In row number 4, it's all Bradley Food Marts machines. On the inside, Mike Snow. On the outside is Paige Jones in his first Indy Lights race. Row number 5, the champion on the inside is Eric Bachelard. On the outside, the man who runs the Russell School here at Laguna Seca, Hugh O'Neill. Row 6 on the inside, the veteran Tommy Byrne. He's won Indy Lights races 10 times. Outside, Jeff Davis, coming off a 6th place at Nazareth. Row 7 on the inside, John Marconi, and on the outside is Rob Wilson. Row 8, the Rookie of the Year points leader Frank Freon, flanking him Roberto Quintanilla. And at the back, Bob Doricott from Santa Clara, California. The Laguna Seca Road Course, Derek Daly, truly a great road circuit through Hill and Dale.
It truly is. 2.2 miles, 11 turns, predominantly left-handed racetrack here. Elevation changes almost 300 feet from the bottom to the top. When you get to the top, you got to come back down, and one of the corners you go through is the corkscrew. We'll see that later on during the day. One of the most unique corners in all of racing.
The rookie points coming to Laguna Seca, led by Frank Freon, but he comes from way back in the field, and Brian Till could overtake. In the Univision Triple Crown, worth $25,000, winner take all. Again, Till is the leader, but a whole host of runners could overtake and grab that prize before this day is done. Frank Freon, the man who leads the Rookie of the Year points, settling into his grid position, which is number 15. He's got an awfully long way to go to protect his position and grab that bonus as we go on board with him through the corkscrew and down the hill they go. He'll start on fresh tires. Brian Till, the man in pursuit in that Rookie of the Year battle, is coming from a much better grid spot. He will start 4th on this field, and he could have a very good opportunity to snatch that prize away on the last day of the season. Through the final turn, lining up and eyeing the flagman Jim Swintel. The first 5-6 rows appear to be in pretty good order. The acceleration begins, and at the start-finish line we have a green flag through turn number 1. On the inside, Buell protects his position against P.J. Jones, and Mark Smith wants it down to the inside. There's contact. Buell spins, and the front row is both spun out in turn number 2, and Mark Smith assumes the lead.
Mark Smith got away with a very risky move, but look at the pole sitter, Robbie Buell. Such a great day. That right rear tire is flat from the contact with Mark Smith. Well, there's Robbie Buell's season. Stopped right there, almost in the gravel trap. The man that really had the momentum going in here after that great win at Nazareth.
So the lead belongs to Mark Smith as they begin to climb the hill. Looking at turn number 6, the next one they must negotiate. Second place is Brian Till. Tucking into 3rd place right now, Robbie Groff.
Look at Robbie Groff, tries to go down the inside of Brian Till, up the hill and into the braking area. Gets a pass made.
Very brave point to do that because it's a blind hill. You come over to the braking point, you can't see a thing at that moment on the racetrack, but through the corkscrew, and Robbie Groff pulls it off. So Till slides back into the 3rd spot. Let's go back to the start in turn number 2 and take a look at it. Down to the inside, the green and white car, Mark Smith.
Now, Mark Smith really has the line here. I'm not sure Robbie Buell sees him. Robbie Buell probably could have given him a bit more room, but look at Buell. He didn't have any place to go because P.J. Jones was already on that outside line, and he got tangled up in the incident.
Going 3 wide into turn number 1. Everyone says it's impossible, and again, that has been demonstrated. From the back, the man on the left in that row of 3 is Mark Smith. You see, he gets down on the dirt, and then the spins begin to his right, and he gets through it.
Oh, the problem that happened there is Mark Smith locked those front wheels, and he actually slid up into Robbie Buell. That looks like what happened. So Buell actually, although he couldn't get out of the way, Mark Smith wasn't able to stop his car.
And a full course yellow has been displayed. The car of Robbie Buell stopped in turn number 1, and they're going to have to go fetch it. The leader, Mark Smith, followed by Groff, Till, Snow, and Eric Bachelard. Those are the top 5. Buell's car being removed from the racing circuit at Laguna Seca. He only got to the second turn before he came to grief, and he's out of the event. Damage to the car. The lights off the pace car, and we're approaching resumption of race speed with Mark Smith walking the point, then Groff, Till, Snow, and Bachelard. Robbie Buell, the long walk back to his team at the pits. We have the green flag from Jim Swintel, and we're back to racing. And Groff and Smith take off together down into turn 2.
And Mark Smith will have his hands full because Robbie Groff has this car handling extremely well. He was the fastest man in this morning's warm-up, which is often the real time to tell how the car will handle in race conditions. So Robbie Groff will give Mark Smith all he can handle.
Robbie Groff, a 2-time race winner in 1991, both on ovals, led by Mark Smith, who took the pole and led wire to wire at Cleveland back in midsummer.
The long uphill climb here that's about 120 feet up to this very, very fast 4th gear left-hand corner. Then, oh, look at Bachelard slides down the inside of Mike Snow, and Snow goes off the racetrack trying to take the position back, and he gets it.
Mike Snow and Eric Bachelard hammer and tong at the top of the hill. Brian Till now through the corkscrew. He's running in 3rd, and behind him all kinds of action as Snow, Bachelard, and Paige Jones get involved. And Paige Jones has moved through, and joining the group is David Kudrave in the number 10 car, the Black Machine. What a battle for 4th through the 8th position on the track. Sideways is Roberto.
Hugh O'Neill almost collects the wall, decides the easiest way is to drive down the pit lane. That wasn't planned, I assure you. A very brave move coming down that hill, but he did get out of control, got sideways. That was turn 10. Quick check over the pit lane, and he's on his way again. Lost a lot of positions.
Through the corkscrew, the leaders in single file procession and down the hill. Robbie Groff looking for an opportunity to make a move on Mark Smith. As Derek mentioned, quickest in the warm-up was Groff, and he has made up significant ground since the beginning of the event. 1 space away from the lead, and there he goes to the left-hand side, and he gets it. He gets the position in turn number 5.
Decisive move down the inside. We saw Mark Smith actually lock. Look at Smith, has a little poke down the inside. Does he try to get down? Oh, this is touch and go. No, he doesn't make it. But we saw Mark Smith on the downhill run to turn 10, locked the front wheels, and then slowed it down a little bit and into turn 11. Decisive move by Robbie Groff.
Disappointment reigns in the pit of Robbie Buell. Standing by is Gary Gerald.
What happened down there?
You know, Mark Smith was on the inside there. PJ was on the outside. I was just kind of ahead, and Mark Smith just kind of got into the back of me and bent my left rear tire and spun me out.
Brian Till still running in 3rd. Derek, let's go along with him as they climb up the hill.
Uphill, he picks 5th gear, down 1 change. This is a very, very fast right hander. Now look what the driver sees. The sky, that's it. Long uphill, still the sky, and suddenly, right here, it flattens out. Jumps on the brakes. This is the corkscrew. A downhill. Look at this roller coaster start. Downhill, picks a gear, gets faster. He turns left. Correction there, right out onto the dirt. Picks another gear. This is where we saw Hugh O'Neill fly off the road on the left-hand side, and this is where Robbie Groff made that decisive move to take the lead.
And up the hill, 1 more lap complete. In the distance, the back wing of Mark Smith, the 2nd place car. Further in the distance, that of Robbie Groff into turn number 2. Robbie Groff leads at Laguna Seca, followed by Mark Smith, Brian Till, Mike Snow, and Paige Jones, the younger brother of PJ. Those are the top 5 at Laguna Seca. We'll be back with more in a moment.
If you can't wait, you need the News Weekly of Motoring.
Back at Laguna Seca, Chris McClure along with Derek Daly. And Mark Smith is continuing into turn 11. Mark Smith has the lead, and Robbie Groff has moved toward the pits. Robbie Groff slowly into the pits, and inheriting the lead is Mark Smith. And second place will now belong to Brian Till, and Snow will move up to third. There's Groff down in the pits. Problems on the front of the car. Brian Murphy, the crew chief, working on it. Eric Bachelard working on Mike Snow in turn number 2 at the bottom of the hill, and right close behind in tow is Tommy Byrne, who's worked his way up to 5th position. A great 3-car battle for what is the 4th spot on the racetrack.
Anything can happen in racing, and it's incredible that 2 races in a row when Robbie Groff was in such a commanding leading position. Nazareth and here, he's had a mechanical failure, a mechanical problem that's taken him out of high points and high dollar-paying positions.
We go back on board with Frank Freon, still running in 9th place, but looking just up the track to Paige Jones. If Freon can pick up that 1 spot, Derek, it's all he would need to claim that Rookie of the Year award. Still, at the moment, he would finish this race tied with Brian Till, both at 120 points.
That really would be a very welcome award for Frank Freon to win and to take back to France, because they use it as a negotiation tool to measure the success of his first season in the Indy Lights. So Frank Freon still has he's lost it.
Turn number 2, all the way around, a full 360, catches it before he got too far off the left-hand side into the dirt. But he may have ruined the tires, and the chance to catch Paige Jones may well have gone completely away.
Here's a replay. He gets down the inside of Paige, has a little look. Now the car probably is a bit of push. Now watch it get sideways. Look, sideways, tire smoke, complete 360. Luckily, he stayed on the racetrack, left black tracks as he accelerates away, but didn't do any damage.
9th place still does belong to him. No one else got by Frank Freon in that moment in turn number 2. Kudrave and P.J. Jones. That's for 6th position. David Kudrave had the first day pole. He was very, very fast after extensive testing leading up to Laguna Seca. Came here with a lot of confidence, and we talked at the top of the show about people wanting to end the season with a flourish and feel good about 1992. That's exactly what Kudrave is accomplishing here.
I think that is oh, look at this, he goes wide. Exactly the same thing has happened to Eric Bachelard. This is the uphill left hand, very fast 5th corner. Look at Paige Jones also takes advantage, goes down the outside, and Kudrave slides back down the inside again.
The Jones boys go by, and Kudrave answers one of them back, and through the corkscrew, Paige Jones has to give up the space and tuck in behind, but David Kudrave loses 6th spot to P.J. Jones, who spun in the first lap, went to the back, but has been able to climb all the way back up to the 6th position in this race now. Meantime, the lead still belongs to Mark Smith, followed reasonably well back, better than 2 seconds away, is Brian Till. Then back at Laguna Seca, continuing to move along on the point is Mark Smith, just under 2 seconds ahead of Brian Till. Mark Smith, who will pick up a bonus of $5,000 from Conoco for winning the most poles in the 1991 season. He's captured 3 of them, and that does carry that financial bonus. Back in action, a lap down and certainly out of the hunt, but on the track at least is Robbie Groff, a man who this season has led more laps than anyone in the series, and Miller Brewing Company provides a $5,000 bonus for accomplishing that. Frank Freon has been able to come back to terms with Paige Jones, and coming up to the corkscrew, he forces a mistake, and he has taken over the 8th position. But Paige Jones trying to respond as they head back down the hill. It took several laps, Derek Daly, but Freon made up the space after the spin and finally was able to capitalize.
A great run by Frank Freon. Oh, what a huge lunge down the inside. Oh, he's going to have to work hard here on this drag race down the front straight, because Paige Jones has the line for turn 2. He's on the inside.
They They'll go down into turn 2, and already the position belongs to Jones, but back to the inside is Frank Freon, and he takes it right back in turn number 2.
Great racing by Frank Freon. This is what it's all about. Remember, although they're fighting well back in the field, 8th and 9th place here, the Rookie of the Year is what Frank Freon wants to take back to France with him in his briefcase.
While picking up the position, should he hold it, will earn him the Rookie of the Year, a race that he's led throughout most of this campaign. And up front, Eric Bachelard has taken Mike Snow for the 3rd position, and Eric Bachelard, in a long battle with Mike Snow, is in position to stand on the podium in Indy Lights for the 8th time this year, behind 4 victories. Mark Smith continues to lead, followed by Brian Till, then Bachelard, Mike Snow, and Tommy Byrne. Those are the top 5 at Laguna. We'll be back. Welcome back to Firestone Indy Light competition at Laguna Seca. Working the final lap, Mike Snow trying to hold on to 4th. Byrne right behind him, and P.J. Jones. They've been at it for a good long time. 3rd place belongs to Eric Bachelard. 2nd is Brian Till, who will capture the Triple Crown if he holds that position through the last little bit of the race. Eric Bachelard coming down the hill. There's Snow, then Tommy Byrne, followed by P.J. Jones.
Snow has had to really withstand incredible amounts of pressure today, but Bachelard was the only one in this long train that managed to sneak by.
Through the corkscrew, Mark Smith, the last time he has to negotiate that bit of racetrack.
And damage on that right front wing. That was obviously from the earlier contact, but he's managed to keep it all in one piece. It hasn't caused too much problem during the day, but that front wing is definitely damaged, heavily damaged on Mark Smith's car.
Turn number 11. He swings it not too close to the wall this time. In tow is Brian Till in 2nd place. And Mark Smith crosses the start-finish line. He has the checkered flag and has won at Laguna Seca. Down in turn number 11, the battle for 5th position, and P.J. Jones bounces his way through Tommy Byrne and picks up the spot right at the end. Byrne will finish 6th. 4th place to Mike Snow, Eric Bachelard 3rd, Till 2nd, and Mark Smith the winner at Laguna Seca. Frank Freon brings it up, fist raised in the air. He will take the 8th spot and take the Rookie of the Year award from Brian Till by a single point, 121 to 120.
And he knows it. Look at that fist in the air. A successful day for him, because 8th place doesn't make any difference. The Rookie of the Year title is what he wanted.
And with his 2nd victory of 1991, there is Mark Smith, the Evergreen Aviation Machine. Mark Smith has won the season finale at Laguna Seca, followed in 2nd